This is the Bill Squire Show.
The Olympic ones. All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome to this week's episode of the Bill Squire Show. I am your host, Bill Squire, and here with me today is John Bruton.
Hey.
We are here on a Sunday afternoon, and I'm going to be honest.
Yes.
I'm a little out of it. I actually did a bunch of work this week.
Me too.
That's one thing that I have not realized that I've done like during quarantine.
Mm-hmm.
It was, I haven't been busy. Not like I used to be.
I had a question.
I used to be busy doing shows all the time.
Is it still called quarantine if this is what it is?
Oh, it's not quarantine anymore, but I'm talking about during like the actual
when
quarantine.
it was the 2 months we were supposed to stay our ass down?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was fun.
That was. And like I did real good with it. There's other people that were freaking out, but I'm like, oh, you never been depressed before? Come on.
But that's the thing.
I'm a pro at this.
People weren't, it wasn't a mandatory depression. That's the part that really,
Yeah.
like, yo, go in the house and deal with your shit. So
mandatory depression, that is.
Like a lot of people had mandatory, like, I got lucky.
Yeah.
Like having a girl in the house made everything easier. So I was never alone. So my annoyance would be the standard another person around annoyance,
right.
not like isolation.
And you're around a person that you liked, because there are people that were in bad relationships, and that wasn't good.
That would,
Now, me and my girl, we were good. She got real depressed. My girl got real depressed, and she's out of it now, and she's so like bubbly and happy. And she's like, I can't believe how depressed I was.
Both
I'm like,
Mine's doing the same thing. We just had a conversation when I was driving here, and she was like, this is the best she's ever felt. Like she's feeling herself again. Yeah. Now I'm like, all right. I mean, I'm still.
Yeah, I was pretty consistent. Like I was just like, oh, I gotta stay home, watch Netflix, listen to music, not talk to people. I'll be all right. And there was moments. There was definitely moments where I was missing doing stand up most of all.
Oh, I definitely missed it.
That was the one thing. But like the going out to bars and socializing and stuff like that.
That was never I never liked that anyway. I didn't miss it.
I was like the chill part of that, where it's like an empty bar where you're just, but you can recreate that pretty. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, sorry.
You can recreate that pretty decently.
With friends
doing Zoom and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So,
I did a lot of Zoom hangouts with friends. Some comics who I wouldn't really know a comic, but we just met each other and would put up, hey, I'm doing a writing session. Who want to join? I'm like, let me go jump on. And I didn't know they looked up to me kind of in the comedy world. So like, oh shit, John here. Hey, John, I'm like, all right, let's talk.
Yeah, just calm down. Just be cool.
And I had me and the guy I was working with, we talk every day, and we FaceTime and we just talk, and we just not about comedy because we can't talk about comedy. So we just talk about everything else.
Well, I had the radio show was still going, and we only did 2 days here. We did 2 days from my condo, and the rest of the time we were out at the studio at the station. So having that structure and that like being able to get away for a little bit was key too.
I got an office,
and then have the dog. The dog was nice to have because
I got an office. I couldn't work from home anymore. Like it was, I used to work from home, but then she has an office in the house.
Oh, so you rented an office space?
Yeah, I got office space now.
Yeah.
Me and my boy got an office, and it's like, all right, I'll do this now. This is a routine I got to get cool with until November. Then it's gonna be home again.
Home again with the baby.
And she'll be gone though, so that'd be peaceful still.
Yeah. Well, it's not with a baby.
No, she'll as long as she's gone.
Yeah.
The baby can just cry. She can't annoy me.
Yeah. You'll see.
This ain't the first time I've been around a baby.
Yeah. It's not directed at you like it is.
No, I dated a girl who she had twins, and they were about 8 or 9 months old, and we started hanging out first. Then we started dating, and the kids still were young.
Yeah.
So like, I still she had twins. One would cry, and we would call it ISO. So I grab one, and go in the other room.
Gotcha.
So I mean, I wake up.
Okay, so you're pretty prepared for that.
Oh yeah, that part I'm prepared for.
So last night I was at Hilarities all weekend, co-headline with Mike Paramore. Great weekend. It was nice. Like we had different hosts every week or every show. So like Riley Nesbala was Thursday, Jimmy Graham was Friday, and then Mary was Saturday. And Mary's ex-fiance's new fiance was at the Saturday early show.
With the date?
No, she was there like with her friends, just trying to like have fun. And then after the show, complained about Mary. She's like, I didn't really like the opener that much. And
how did she hear this?
I can't tell.
Fair enough. Oh, yeah, off record. Right. It's just too personal. We can't do that. I forgot we can't talk totally. Like,
yeah, we can't totally because I can't. But I don't know. And it's also Mary's story to tell, and she'll probably tell it tomorrow.
I texted her last night too, just on some hate shit.
So she's she was all like, I knew that was her complaining because it was like, because she had a great sets, and for them to be like, we didn't like the opener. I'm like, the fucking opener crushed, and like these shows were great, and that dynamic of like Mary, Mike, Paramore, and I, you get so many different styles, and it all works real well together. Mike and I just work well together because we're very different comics.
I wanted that
but
weekend.
we play off each other real well.
I wanted to come down, but I just couldn't. Thursday was just a random thing.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. How was Thursday ran?
It was fun. It was fine. It was okay.
Because I know I kind of fucked that up a little.
Yeah, he took Sam to. But I want to get to the last, and then we'll get to your Thursday. But my daughter, she turned 21 in May.
Wow.
And I know, right?
She's at all.
Yeah. And so she turned 21 in May, and
oldest?
Yeah, that's the oldest.
Okay.
I mean, the youngest is about to be 18.
Yeah, because they were all close in age, like 4 years.
They're all close
apart.
to age, and they,
it's 4 years apart, right?
Yeah, and my ex-wife's a little bit older than me, so she had her youngest when she was 19 years old, and then had him bang, bang, bang. And I was like 26 or 25 when I started coming around, so I've been in like 12, 13 years now. So anyway, she wanted to do, like, her friends' birthdays were this week, so she's like, can we get oh man, god damn it.
What's wrong?
The lights. All right. Anyway, so they got a limo bus, and I helped hook that up. Statement Limousine. Thank you so much. They got it all going on.
Oh, that was her.
Yeah.
That story, I kind of wanted to know, but I'm like, I'm not going to text him this shit. I'm going to find out later.
Yeah. And that's kind of the misdirect that I'm doing with it, because I didn't want people to know exactly what was going on. But then I posted a picture today, and it's like all of us on the bus, and like I'm sitting on the far side of the bus. I took my mask off for like 1 second for one selfie, but it was a lot of fun on that bus. But man, my daughter, she doesn't drink really, so
she just turned 21, right?
She just turned 21,
Yeah.
but she also, like, it's not her thing.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, some people, like, they drank a lot before they were 21.
Yeah, I didn't.
She wasn't that kind of person, and she doesn't do it very often. And she's one of those people where you can't tell how drunk she is. And that's kind of terrifying, because she was like up and walking around, and like, no, her words aren't slurred or anything like that, but she just kept forgetting everything everywhere. So she was blacked out last night by the end of the night, and I took her home because like they met here at my condo, and then I took her home, and her other friend didn't drink, so she drove home, the rest of the group. And she's like, how'd I get home last night? I'm like, I dropped you off. I'm like, you called me right after I dropped you off looking for your phone from your other friend's phone, and then you walked downstairs and it was like outside because you dropped it on your way in. So she was just like all sorts of messed up, but she's okay today. But she also like bounced back like that. Like if I get to a point where I'm blacked out and like lose
4 p.m.
time, yeah, I'm not even 4 p.m. The following day. Like
I
I have 2-day hangovers at this point, man.
If I get that drunk, really. I haven't been drinking a lot either. I've really stopped drinking with the pregnancy and quarantine. I barely had a couple beers and a couple shots with my friend. Like my one boy, shout out to Dre. He would hit me up because I was kind of feeling down. And like, man, come through and play Madden. We ain't did that in a while. So I came over his house. Nobody was there. His kid and his wife was gone. And we just played Madden and talked shit. And he had a bottle. He bought me a bottle of Bullet.
Oh, nice.
And we just drank it.
Nice.
But I was also paranoid, so I brought my own cup. Because it was the height of the
of everything.
Yeah.
Well, when we're in the bus, so she came to my show too at Hilarities.
Yeah. Okay.
So she came to the show and she brought her friends.
That's fun.
And we were telling some stories. I told a story about when she was like 8 or 9 years old, and a neighbor lady got mad at her for kids being kids, and like her, like scratched her house or something. And this neighbor lady said that my daughter called her a cunt. And I told the story last night on stage, and I go, what did you call her? And she's like, I don't know what she's talking about. I'm like, did you call her the C word? She's like, what's the C word? I'm like, did you call her a cunt? And she goes, what's a cunt? And like the way she like shrugged and had no idea what that word meant was one of the most innocent, funny things. And so I told that story last night. And then her friends that she was hanging out with, she's been friends with since we moved to Medina. And when they were in middle school, probably 6th or 7th grade, they would dance she'd go over their house and they'd like dance and film it, and then they put it on YouTube. And I was like, what are you guys doing? Because I logged in on our computer one day and Skylar left her account up. And I saw all these weird comments. I'm like, what is going on?
Oh, man.
Because, you know, it was just like the homepage of it. Oh, yeah. And so I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And so I clicked on the video and I see these like 12, 13-year-old girls like twerking and stuff like that. I'm like, what? You guys can't do this shit. Like, I don't care if you can dance that way. Yeah. I don't care if you dance that way. And in the basement, you can't put that on YouTube because that's like all they're trying to message them and stuff. I'm like, look at this stuff. Look at these. These are not young men your age. These are predators looking for you.
Yeah, like you can have that in private, but the world is different. I've been thinking about how to break that down too, on how to let her know. Because I didn't have to get the internet conversation because the internet happened while I was still growing. Like by high school, we started having email and stuff, but it was like even porn sites were different. Like I think I told you remember how porn sites, when you used to go to one, it would say enter if you're over 18 and exit if you're not. Yeah. And that's gone.
That is completely gone.
Me and my girl was talking about it, and I told her about how Pornhub made me feel sick because I went to Pornhub and it's just bam right in front of you. It's like whatever you need
right there.
So like I can't even just like.
No, it's
like so, say yes, I'm supposed to be here.
It's so in your face now, but it's also one of those things where I'm not as hung up on sex as a lot of people are. Like I don't want to sit and talk about it with my daughter or anything like that. But I'm also like I'm understanding that as a 21-year-old, she's gonna do what she's gonna do. Yeah, it's not really smart, my business. Yeah, be smart. She's not pregnant or anything like that. She's actually probably
good shape.
Like she's really moral when it comes to that. Like she doesn't just give that shit away.
Most people are.
Yeah.
It's the other case. It's like out of 100 people, 20 might be the ones that are really like go.
Yeah.
And now they don't care. It's like, all right, well.
So then we're on the limousine bus, and her two friends that were twerking when they were 12, or like they're twerking as like adults, and I'm like, all right, well, I gotta tell you, you guys remember this story? And so I told that story, and they're like such sweet kids now. Like they're like adults, and they're both STNAs and shit like that. They're doing good stuff.
Yeah, responsible and shit.
Yeah, like what they weren't sloppy at all. Like they were just, I mean, they
had fun.
They had a great time, and I was just so happy because I know how weird all that could get. There was another friend that was sloppy stupid, and she was like fighting with her boyfriend on the phone, and she's like crying, like just crying, and just like, he broke up with me. I can't believe it. But the best part is they all hang out with her regularly, so they know this is part of the routine. Mm-hmm. So they're not reacting at all. They're just like, I'm like, what's going on? Is she okay? And they're like, yeah, this is Saturday. This is just how she acts on Saturday. So like their non-reaction to her overreaction was the funniest fucking part of the whole night, where she's like hyperventilating. She's like, he broke up with me. And they're just like, yeah, we know. We know. Yeah. Okay. You'll be fine tomorrow. It was very funny.
I never dated girls like that. I never dated a girl that was that dramatic. I couldn't even
be around her. Like that would be the worst thing ever.
Girls like that have shown me they're that way, and I just ended it.
Yeah.
Like it's been a few that's like, you gonna just leave me? Leave you? I just met you.
Right. Yeah. Like I've had some girls like get upset when we broke up, but not like Carly. She left me a few voicemails. People know about that. But I've had some tough ones, but not like that. But I also she's 21 years old. That was a child thinking that's how you're supposed to react when you get broken up with by someone that breaks up with you every week. Like she's just playing house.
I would say we don't care how old he was, but if he's younger, it kind of makes sense. He's part of the problem. If he's older, he's a dick. He's bored.
Yeah. I don't even know anything about him other than he's from Brazil. So.
Oh, he's just tired of her shit.
Yeah.
I've never been a fan of dramatics. I can't do it.
No, that's not.
Like, I don't like drama.
I don't like drama. Like, you can say things to me and I'll talk to you about it. It might not necessarily change the way I feel about it, but you can talk to me and I'll listen to you and go on.
That's all you got to do. I realize that. I listen to all kind of stuff. I don't have to have a strong opinion about everything.
Right. Yeah. No, you don't have to. So yeah, it was a good weekend. Just, it was nice to knock the rust off. It's so crazy. By Saturday, I'm so hooked again. Like Thursday, you're like, okay, I can still do this and I'm all right at it. By Saturday, I was like, I need to get on stage again. Like right now, like full crack mode.
They let me sneak in that way. Tuesday was the one show they had at Hilarities.
Yeah.
Then Thursday was Mary's show, and I did a weekend with Shane Gillis, and that those that with also the Monday show, I was happy.
Yeah.
Because I was doing a lot. I've been doing mostly all new.
Yeah. No, the stuff that I've seen you've been doing has been very, very good too.
Like my new shit is
I love it.
It's okay. It's a hot. I'm gonna try and get the paraphrase version. It's I'm happy to see Mike Tyson back, and he could have raped her shape. And that's how I start off with it. And that's like I'd say I don't think he did it, but now it's good to see my role models. Some of them survived. Mm-hmm. Like so, I talk about that a little bit. But I talk about how Mike Tyson is like I'm saying he didn't do it, but he could. That's why we're so scared of him. Like the nigga could rape The Rock if he wanted.
Yeah, he's one of the scariest people.
He's
on
pure
the planet.
muscle. Like
yeah.
You don't want him to get back in shape.
What was he, 53?
I believe 53 or 52. One of those. But it's like it doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. He's still strong. He's still fast. Yeah, he took a couple years off, but he got it.
2005, I think, was his last fight.
He got knocked in the face. He got punched in the face by a white boy, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. But not white boy, it don't matter. But I forgot we all got to be racially sensitive. But either way, it's just he's back in. Like the fact they rescheduled the fight makes me happy.
Yeah, was it November now?
Mm-hmm. Because ESPN Roy Jones had an interview. He's like, man, I don't know what Mike's going to show up. I don't want to wear headgear because I don't want to give him a target, but I need the headgear because I can't just go up there and let Mike hit me. So it's like, it's no real way to win this that way. I hope Mike understands it's for charity. Yeah. Saying that as the opponent is the funniest shit. Like, I'm going to take this L.
That is not how Mike is approaching the fight.
Oh, Mike's in shape again. Yeah. He's teaching people how to hit harder. Like, he's doing the wisdom. Before he wasn't wisdom. Yeah. Now he's wisdom and aggression. That's like the Hulk. Yeah. Like from the last Endgame Hulk.
Professor.
Yeah, like that's the perfect Hulk. You're like, shit. Yeah. Hulk smash when he wants to, he not unleashed.
Yeah, because there was the aggression, and then there was the wisdom, and now all together. That's going to be very scary.
Because now he knows when to turn it on and when to ease off. He knows his limitations. He probably knows his opponents better. So it's going to be fun to watch him destroy somebody.
Did you watch the Stipe fight last night?
No. What did I do yesterday? What we do?
I was driving Skylar home, and then by the time I got there just the very end and watched it with like Polk and Jimmy over at Joe Graham's house.
Jane the Virgin.
Jane the Virgin.
We've been watching Jane the Virgin. Okay. That's what I did last night. I watched the first
just
6.
Some nice quality time with the lady.
Yeah, first 5 or 6 episodes of Jane the Virgin.
What'd you do on Thursday?
I went to go see Chappelle in Yolo.
And this
Springs.
is the second time?
Second time.
Second time.
And I did what I told you. I told you first.
I know, and I appreciate it.
And after you told me where you're going to be, I figured, let me see if I get this nigga off work. so I hit him up. I'm like, yeah, man.
So you are the GM at our club, Hilarities. Mm-hmm. He's a friend of ours at this point. Mm-hmm. And
oh, yeah.
I went to see Seinfeld with him. I think we've gone to a few comedy shows together and just like had dinner and like go to his house and stuff like that. He's a good pal. But he, so you took him down to Yellow Springs to see Chappelle. Who was all on the lineup?
I'm gonna tell the whole thing.
Okay.
So, I bought the tickets first.
Yeah.
And I'm like, cool. I can find somebody to go with me to this shit. I bought a ticket first. I didn't want to tell.
How much were the tickets?
$450
for 2.
For 2 tickets, you gotta buy them 2 at a time.
Yeah.
So 2 tickets, it was $217.50. Came to $450.
Yeah.
I bought the tickets. I didn't tell my girl yet because we didn't buy a washer and dryer yet. We have a deal. So she was gonna buy the washer and dryer herself. We've just been breaking the house down. You know how we do it. Yeah. We got a system. We're good. She's gonna buy the washer and dryer. I spent the washer and dryer. This is my own money though.
Right.
And I bought tickets. I tell her after I asked you first. Because if you'd have said yes, I'm like, Bill got tickets. He asked me to go. I got the money. So I wasn't going to go at first. Because when I was typing you, I was in a meeting with a client. And my client, I do website design too. And I tell the client, yo, I'm thinking about getting these tickets. So she like, well, how much are they? I said, $450. She said, well, shit, what's my deposit? Tell her the deposit number. She said, here. She sent me the money for the tickets right then and there. So I'm like, she's like, buy them. You might as well, you love comedy. Like, this is your thing. So,
and it's Dave.
So I bought the tickets. And I'm like, I can figure the rest out. The hard part is the tickets.
Right.
So I asked her. She can't go. She got to work. After I asked you. Yeah. So I kind of feel like I asked, but I'm like, she won't love Chappelle. Like, I appreciate it. Like, you. So my list was you, then Rob, then miscellaneous. Like, not saying Mary's miscellaneous, but
Yeah.
I didn't think about Mary yet. No offense to her, but
Right.
I just didn't think about her yet. Out of you and Rob.
I don't think Dave is her Mount Rushmore either.
Yeah, I don't think she'll either.
Yeah.
Like, she respects it, and she would love the comedy because Michelle Wolf was there. Any comic would appreciate it.
Yeah.
But I know you and Rob haven't done this dumb shit. Like, I do dumb shit all the time. I go to Vegas. I do all kind of young nigga shit, like young wild goofy shit. So
one of the craziest things is I've met Dave Chappelle, but still never seen him do stand up live.
You've never seen him live.
I've never seen him live, but I'm
the worst.
But I met him.
That's better. Kinda. I don't know.
I mean, like sat down at a table and talked with him.
That's different. Yeah, that's way better.
Like that's cool. But I would have liked to have seen him do some stand up.
So
I was at the Cellar.
When I talked to you, you said you had a show at Hilarities.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's Thursday show. I said, Scott's great at his job. Let me just call Sam. So I called Sam. I sent him a picture.
You should have done this called Nick.
I'd probably had to drive my car if I hit up Nick, and it would have been Nick. It's a lot harder. Nick's older. I don't know how the conversation in the car would have been.
Yeah. No.
Plus, I took
Nick. I would have taken you.
That's fine. I took
because then Nick could have been like, "Well, why don't you come up here?"
That's funny. Because the other manager at the other club, I took him to see Louis.
Yeah.
So I'm like, why not?
Did you take him to see Louis at
Hilarities?
At Hilarities.
So I brought that guy. He was
that Doyle?
Yeah. We was drinking, and because I bought a ticket, he paid for the alcohol. Yeah. So I'm like, I'm not gonna equal out the money for the tickets, but he like, just drink what you want. I said, I drink. This was before quarantine. I'm drinking, so we having a great time. Polk was there. We all talking shit. They haven't seen him outside of his shit, so he's happy to be there.
Yeah,
it's fun. So I hit up Sam. Say, hey man, Thursday, what you doing? He said, I got the show. I said, call off. Scott's great at his job. I got Chappelle tickets. We'll go there. We'll come back. Say it's recon. You're going to see how Chappelle does his show and bring that back to. We said that makes sense. How long I got? I said, I'm not going to ask somebody else till you say no. He said, cool, I'll let you know. Give me an hour.
Yeah.
Text me that night. He's down to go. It's all good. So I'm like, cool. I didn't want to ask a bunch of people and then do that fucking disappointment. Yeah. So I saw Mary had put me to +1. So I'm like, huh. Well, Rob got to go to Indiana. I already knew that. So I'm like, if Sam can't go, Mary wants to go. It's fine. Sam said yes. So we like, cool. Fucked up part. We got to get to Sam's house, drop my car off, unlocked it because it's nice in the neighborhood. And I left my wallet in the center console. We get 45 minutes down the freeway. So I'm like, because we talking about getting food. So I'm like, cool, let me see what my wallet is. So I said, nigga, you might be mad at me. He said, why? And I said, left my wallet. He said, do we need your wallet? I said, yeah, I got to show my ID when we get to the gate to get in. So I call a friend who lives in Lakewood to drive to his house, go inside my car, meet me on the freeway.
That's nice.
So he like, how the hell do you have friends like this? I said, because I'm that friend for them. I'm the friend that if you call me,
that's kind of stuff I would do if I'm available.
Yeah. So I'm like, who I know in Lakewood that's not free? And it was like 1:00. So I know you and Mary, because I was like, I would call Mary, but Mary's not at home.
Right.
So I'm like, fuck. Well, we turned around. We got there at 8. We sat in the middle, dead middle too. Like the same amount of seats in front of us, same amount of seats in the back of us, same amount to the left, right. We were right in the middle. And then my favorite moment from the show was Chappelle made a joke where he said, he wished we had a gay leader right now because they know that we're around a pandemic.
Yeah.
Sam did his fucking laugh.
Yeah.
And
booth
Dave,
laugh.
Yeah, his ha ha. And Dave cracked and started laughing too after that line. And I'm like, this is the coolest shit.
That's great.
Like, because everybody's kind of like, oh, and we're dying laughing because we're, comedy fans are different than the fans of Chappelle.
Right.
So we heard that great line and his laugh and we just laughed. I saw that shit. I said, oh, that's funny.
Yeah, because they're all waiting for somebody else to make it okay to laugh. And comics are just like, I'll deal with the repercussions. Oh, yeah. I'm gonna laugh first. We gotta let the moment happen first, and then you go, okay, was that fucked up to laugh at? Nah, it's okay.
Exactly. The first time I went, it was Dave, Michelle, Mo, Amber, and then Donnell, and that was it. This time it was the tickets were double the price, so I was kind of sitting there like, nigga, you better give me something else. Yeah. I know they gonna be here. Got the ticket. I went the first time was $100, so it was like the standard. That was the price for everybody. Then it went to $150 the next phase. Then it was $200 when Louis was there. Then it was $217 this time. They were like, okay, you keep edging.
Yeah.
And these tickets stayed. They didn't sell out on the weekend until the day of. They were still for sale on Saturday.
Yeah, because it's kind of underground thing. You got to know
to look
where
for.
to
Yeah,
get it.
Ticketmaster's not really advertising.
Yeah.
You just send the link to your friend because it's like
word of mouth. Yeah.
It's still a local show for the most part. I mean, it was majority of people from Ohio were at the show. He asked, and it was like okay, but this show,
I know Randy, who goes around with Randy Valero, who travels with Jeff Dye. He went to one of them because that's the kind of guy he is. Like he's just out there doing whatever the fuck he wants, and so he's like, yeah, I went to one of those. I'm like, you live in Boston, L.A. Where do you live, man? He's like, I don't really. He just kind of moves around where he wants to be.
Yeah, he keeps a friend.
Yeah.
I always told myself if I didn't have a house, I'd be fine. I told myself that before this, of course, but it's like I could handle being a nomad.
Yeah.
I've
thought about that. I've thought about
Cliff
like
Cash loving.
Yeah,
shout out to Cliff Cash,
Cliff
man.
Cash has got his.
I could live like Cliff Cash.
For use that, he's a comic and he's got hit like a
van.
It's not even a van. It's like a station wagon basically that he retrofitted and just it's got a bed in the back and like, but it's all nice too and it's like a place that he just travels the country, sleeps in his car, does comedy.
But he does a show too. He runs a show also.
Yeah.
So that helps a little bit with the financing. And Rena Calm, I think she does the same thing.
Oh yeah, she's doing that now too.
Yeah, so I mean, I get it. I thought about if I could do it. I mean,
I could have done it. I could have done it before I got the radio, but I couldn't do it now.
I'll tell you what we're gonna do in a minute.
Comfortable.
In 2021, we're gonna do something different. We're working on it. I'll tell you about that off because it's not really it's an idea still. But so the show, we turn around. The girl meets us off of right before 71 and 90. So we just get back on 71. We go back to 90 and do all that shit. Saves us 20 minutes out of the 48 minutes. So it's still a cool time. We just driving. We get there. We're still on time. We're good. Get a good seat. First thing is Chappelle. He complains about the taxing from the noise ordinance. He does a little bit of that. And he does a little bit of stuff he did the first time to work it out. And that was cool to me. I'm happy and it's funny. Michelle Wolf comes up, does some of the same stuff but different pacing. She's working on shit. Yeah. It was good to me, but some people complain about it online, but that's going to happen. Fuck them. Then it was Mo. I didn't like Mo the first time. Didn't like him the second time. I took a smoke break. I smoke weed now. I don't care about hiding it. So I go smoke the rest of I had a whole like a half a joint left. I smoke it in the back waiting. Yeah. I'm hearing Mo, but I'm not caring. Yeah. Go back. Sam's like, he wasn't that bad. So I'm like, yeah, I'm high. I don't care. Then a violin. No, he didn't. He brings up Donnell, and I'm instantly mad. Cause I'm like, who the fuck gonna be? I don't want the same show for double the price. Right. Donnell crushes. Donnell
is so fucking good at comedy.
So he's like,
and Donnell's like he's funny, but like as a stand-up comedian, and just he's on that level of just ridiculous thoughts that he makes very coherent and hilarious.
Nigga, he says I'm a river nigga now. Living out here with Chappelle, and he tells a good story about going out in the Yellow Springs at the Ohio River and shit. Yeah. He's talking about going White River rafting, and he called it yakking with my niggas. Like it's a funny he's just talking about kayaking, talking about one of the guys on the camp didn't row, and Chappelle was rowing like they're trying to get free and shit. Like he just telling a story about being a river nigga. It's funny as shit. He added more shit. The first time he said it, he just keeps adding to this thing. It's a fucking funny bit to me.
Yeah, building out the material.
Then Chappelle talks about the taxing and how they've been on his ass for the noise ordinance and all that dumb shit. He does a character to make fun of it. He's kind of angry, but it's funny because this ain't going nowhere else. Because he did some jokes about the people who he always teases about, whatever. And then he says the lady was mad, and one of the things he read was she would have rather heard the orchestra playing than the loud music he's playing. He has a woman from the Cincinnati Orchestra, the violinist, first chair, come on stage and plays a tune on the violin over the loudspeakers. And he's just up on stage smoking, sitting down, hanging out. She finishes the song. Everybody claps. It was some beautiful shit. Then he has a poet come out and does like a Black Lives Matter type of poet thing. And the poet is the trans man. So it's like a cool, like he's like, oh, you think I hate? Person comes up and does the poem. Right. Then Chappelle tells you the trans, like, oh, you don't even think about it. Like, I don't hate. And he says it's not a hate thing. And they're on the B side of his album coming out with the 824 was going to 846 is going to come out on wax. And on the B side is going to be the poem that you heard just now. So that's cool. Then he brought up Jon Stewart. Yeah. Jon Stewart does a lot of Trump. This Jon Stewart like the retired Daily Show guy. Yeah. So it's like, you're going to get political shit. Right. And especially this week.
Yeah, this week, with everything going on, the Postal Service, all that shit.
So he talked about the Postal Service and he talked about Trump and just Trump. It wasn't like he didn't address the Democratic Party in the announcement because he doesn't care. He's already against Trump. So it's like, I don't give a fuck who we're voting for. We're not voting for Trump.
Right.
Just vote against Trump. Democratic, that's fine. Just no Kanye. Don't be dumb. Just vote for the political party, not Trump. Did a lot of Trump shit. It was after a while, it was like hearing Dennis Miller to me. I never liked it in overdrive.
Right.
I understand it. I care. I watch, but I don't want to fucking think about it for 10, 20, 15 minutes. Like he did it. He was a headliner. He did 25. Then him and Chappelle sit down, and Chappelle they just talking, and Chappelle told 3 fucking stories that I'm like, he's the best. Like
that's got to be like what makes it all worth it right there. Like the stand-up is one thing, but that's basically you watching them do a live podcast.
Yeah,
where they're going back and forth.
I almost texted you last night, and I was going to tell you Chris Rock was there last night. I was about to say, nigga, I wish I would have known this. I would have bought the ticket for that too and said, yo, fuck that show.
So Chris Rock was there last night?
Last night Chris Rock was there. So I'm like, damn, man. Because I'm in the I'll put you in the Facebook group later. Whatever. I'll put you in the Facebook group. They tell when the ticket's going to sell. Plus, I know. I check it, and I'll just send it to you the link.
Yeah.
But yeah.
You said you're going to send me the link every time it shows up. So
hopefully
one will work out.
It's probably
if there's one next weekend, I'm good to go because I got nothing going on next weekend.
It is.
It's tough for me to do it on a weekday, but if it's next weekend, I'm there. We'll even get a fucking hotel and party.
The only not routine. The only thing I heard about this one with Rock, somebody said the set wasn't that great. And I'm like, you're not a comic. It's a bunch of people from Ohio in this thing, so they like what they like. Mm-hmm. They said the best part was him and Chappelle talking. Mm-hmm. I'm like, for $200, as the comic and fan that I am, but Chappelle and Stewart were great because it's 2 different backgrounds of comedy, but they've always been close. So 2 friends talking was so cool to me. Yeah, and like Chappelle told a story about Damon Wayans. I told my girl this morning, like, about how the homie don't play that and the Rick James bitch, and how he said that he saw Damon go through that shit, and he understood later on in life. He was with Erykah Badu walking down the street, and the dude was like, Rick James bitch, and Erykah said, don't mind that. Mine's just called Tyrone. And I'm like, oh, that's fucking true. It's like, yeah, your trademark song or whatever become the thing random niggas scream at you. Right. And he said Damon Wayans had the same problem with homie don't play that. When he was trying to do a set at the store, people kept screaming out, homie don't play that. So he said, y'all want homie don't play that? And he put the mic by his ass and just farted. He said it was the big, nastiest, wet fart ever, with the perfect timing to it. And he said, homie, don't play that, and dropped the mic and walked off. And I'm like, but the stories he told was just great. It was cool to see a dude. And he said, man, he loves living here because it's the micro to his macro. And he said, don't you ever fucking forget, I'm galactic in this bitch. He said, I am a thing. Mm-hmm. It's like to hear him talk that shit and be honest, like, yes, that's what I came for. We on your property. Right. With the screens. I was like, yeah, this is not just some pavilion that they sell shit at. This is yours. Yeah. He owns a couple properties in that area. So it's kind of cool that he's big bad money bucks. Yeah. And he's big daddy Warbucks over there, and they just keep trying to tax him. He said, it's funny that the white people here are trying to make him bail them out of the hole they would put him in. With financially, they would love him in being dead as a black man. Right. But here he is being the black savior for this neighborhood, for this city. Yeah. So it's cool to hear him get mad at that and vent. So I had fun.
That sounds amazing. I need to get to one. I gotta get to one.
I think they still doing them because they canceled the Labor Day shows. Because Labor Day he was gonna be with Joe Rogan in Memphis one day, or Nashville one day, and then New Orleans another. Because I was gonna go with my girl because I was gonna buy those tickets. They were cheaper compared to
this. Yeah.
Yeah, but it was closer.
Well, hopefully, if that weekend I might not be able to do it, but I know this coming weekend if he's got any like
21st. Yeah, I'm looking for those too.
Yeah, Saturday would be ideal.
Yeah, because we're back 30th, which is the baby shower day too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Let's talk about that. Bringing back jokes on you.
Yeah. We talked about that a little bit. I told him in the car that I don't want to talk about us in comedy, just comedy. Like we're friends. I don't want to talk about. Yeah. Well, can I get it? That's corny as fuck. Wanted to ask when my next date. We got 3 hours in the car, nigga. Ain't no time for that. Like I would have been mad if somebody asked me about a booking of my work when I took.
If it comes up naturally, that's the one thing. Like if he's like, hey.
We talked about comedy. We talked about stuff. Yeah. It wasn't like
you're not
a John sales pitch thing. Because I would hate if somebody did that to me. I would really be mad.
Well, that's like
if somebody cornered me like that.
Like when we went and saw Seinfeld, we just basically talked about comedy, not like what could I do. And so, but I mean, they're doing such a good job there. Like they're doing such a good job spacing and cleaning and everything and keeping people safe. And still having it be a good, entertaining show.
Oh yeah, my girl won't come to B-side. She won't, and I get that. Yeah. But I put this flyer up this morning, and she's like, "I want to come." So because she came to the show when we had Shane, so she she's seen that the way they do it. She's like, yeah, I'll go to that.
That's and then they got that like electron fog gun or whatever it is, where it's like they fog down the room after everybody's out.
Oh, sterilize.
And it kills, and sterilizes
Sanitize
everything. It
it.
takes like 5 minutes, and Nick's all about that. And I'm like, I like watching Sam walk around like he's Scarface with that thing, just spraying it around. Nick was fucking dying over that. But so we're bringing back Jokes on You. That's our crowd work show. That's gonna be a lot of fun. Be in the main room. It's gonna be a good time. And then
lights will be up too.
You bring up a good point about like your girl like wanting to go to a show. So me and my girl, we kind of went through a thing a couple weeks ago where like she just was coming out of her funk and like she broke up with me, but then we got back together. We're all good now.
That happens.
It does happen. And but she really wanted to come to my shows this weekend at Hilarities. And the best thing, this is like how I know that I care a lot about her, is it's something that made me care about her more even, is because she's just like, I just want to be there. It wasn't like, you didn't invite me or any of that shit, because I had plenty of girls that would be like, well, do you want me to go to your show? I'm like, I'm going to my show.
Oh, yeah, I don't care if
Why
you're
don't,
there or not.
the idea is, if you know about it and you support me, then you want to go to the show too if you can. And if you don't want to go, I'm not offended either. But it's not date night, it's work.
It took me a lot of dumb fights with ex-girlfriends to get to that point where I explained to them very quickly that this is not about you at all. Like, you can take it how you want, but I'm not.
And if you're not comfortable there because you don't want to be left alone or anything like that, or you don't want to talk to people, like, that's on you. Then don't go.
Yeah.
But like, if you want to go, you have to understand that there's going to be large parts of the night where I'm not around you.
I have to be there. You are invited.
Yes. And you're always invited. That was the thing too. Like the exes, they'd be like, well, how come you don't invite me to your shows? I'm like,
so fucking
because
annoying.
I invite everybody to my shows. What do you think a fucking promotion is? What do you think me
public.
posting? Like, I'm not like individually sending people like, hey, I'd really like it if you came to my show. No, I'm sending. Everybody's invited. That's why it's a public event. It makes me crazy. So I don't know.
Yeah, I've had that argument.
Shit fires me up.
Yeah, I mean, because I think every comic, if you deal with somebody, they kind of want to weigh where they're at in your life, which I get their position. I just don't care. Yeah. Like, I get it. It's like pain about certain things. Like, if somebody cuts you off in traffic and you start getting road rage, I don't respect your pain. Yeah. Like, that's you overreacting. If you feel like I'm supposed to invite you to my show, it's kind of arrogant, and I don't fucking care. Like, I'm not going to have this conversation about having to invite you when I got other shit to worry about. Yeah. I gotta go to work.
Let's switch gears a little bit.
Sheesh,
talk about the bubble and Dame.
Oh,
you been watching?
Of course. Well, you know what? The first game I watched, what day was it? I was watching the Laker game, and I was so frustrated that I woke her up, and she came downstairs to watch it with me because I was so fucking mad at the defense and all. Like, it was just like watching Lifetime fitness basketball, up and down, running gun. Yeah. I'm like, why the fuck they got coaches here? Like, this is stupid. It hasn't changed that much. But it's still just like, I got used to this being now AAU ball. I'm watching professional AAU players. This is garbage, but it's the only thing I got. It won't change, I don't think.
As long as the game's close to the end of the game, I'm happy.
Oh yeah, so she started realizing that I could just miss the first. So she started doing the cool thing where she would take the TV over. So in the first quarter, she's like, well, shit, can we watch a couple episodes? Yeah. We'll watch something else.
And then you check in the fourth quarter. If it's close, you go, okay, we got something going on here.
And I even tested it one time, kind of. I just didn't, I let it go. I'll tell you whatever. If we go back, we go back. She looked on Twitter and saw that, Twitter gives you that ticker sometimes. Yeah. She said, oh, the game's about to be third quarter, 6 minutes left. Cut the game back on. I'm like, she really fucking cares. We're cool. We're gonna be fine.
That's some good shit.
So like, okay, I didn't even make a real test, but it was like, I'm proud of this one. This is good.
It's nice for her to acknowledge it.
Yeah, like but she likes basketball. Yeah, like, she's a fan.
And some of these games have been great. I mean, Dame Dame just going crazy.
I never saw. I didn't get to watch one Suns game.
I did because they were all at like 2 p.m.
Oh, okay. Cause I missed them all.
They were all on like weird at times, but Devin Booker had an incredible bubble. Like he was, and I like that. Who was saying? Oh, Draymond Green's like, you gotta leave, and got fined and shit. And that's
that's one thing. When a guy like Draymond shouldn't speak on something that he's always been the third, fourth option. Mm-hmm. So for you to try to give a first option advice is arrogant as fuck. Right. That's the part where I'm like, you aren't the guy to say that. You've been with the team that you got drafted by. you should just say, I hope that he works it out.
Right.
Now, if you were KD or Bron, you could say, I mean,
and you can say that, or you can just say, hey,
I did this, and it's like, yeah, you're not
do
really
what you want
tampering.
to do, man. And that team's got a lot of upside right now because they got a lot of young players.
They get another option. I guess everybody only needs a few more threats. Every team. It's just like the Lakers have cornered the market in threats, and I don't really like that the NBA came back for that one reason. The bubble bothered me because you let niggas sign new players still. Yeah. You got 2 guards on a team that needed guards. Fuck you. Why did the Lakers get to sign 2 new guards?
Everybody had an option too, but
the game shouldn't have came back. Like, we don't even know how the depth chart worked because.
But those guys would have probably gotten signed still.
But LeBron had an inside track. Like the game now is like, this season should have been over. Like, it should have been like an asterisk. Quarantine happened. Fuck the season. It's no real season. Like, we have too much shit going on for this to really be happening. So people, when they brought it back, I was like, I guess bad timing. But next year, if the season's supposed to start, they ruined all NBA future for this one season. They're chasing for LeBron to get a ring. Yeah. Because the season starts in October, November.
Right.
We're going to just
ends in October.
So it's like, what are you guys going to do now, you dumbasses? Like, you ruined the NBA, and now schools and the whole sports team, everything basketball was this time of year.
Right, but there's not even going to be college basketball next year.
Yeah. So, but it's like, sometimes you guys just take, some things aren't going to survive.
But they also set a precedent where they showed how you can do it in a bubble, and I think that's important too.
Yeah, but the NBA and WNBA never played at the same time for a reason.
Right.
Because ratings won't get split that way. You don't want to have those girls next to those guys.
I know, I understand that. That's
like watching the Aces play. Like, I watched the Sparks versus Liberty, which is supposed to be a good game. It's like it's like this fucking Celtics versus the Lakers.
Yeah. It just doesn't add up.
I tried to give a fuck. I watched it to the third quarter. I tried. To the point my girl walked back through the living room and was like, "You still watching this?" So I was like, maybe I should stop.
Yeah.
But yeah.
All right, man. Anything else you want to add before we get out of here?
James Harden's overrated.
James Harden is, I think he's rated.
Fair.
I think
but he's not. They keep trying to give him this. Look at his stats. Well, yeah, the stats don't mean the same. The stats don't mean what they like, you can drop 65 points now and lose.
And also there's
no defense.
There's no defense. That Portland game yesterday, you had 4 players with over 20 points, and it still came down. Like, but they didn't dominate the game.
3.
They won by 4.
Oh, 4.
3 or 4. Yeah, like it wasn't.
I know Melo hit that corner shot, and I was kind of like, okay, Melo, you want this playoff run, but you're not gonna. I like to see Melo and LeBron playing. That's gonna be fun to see.
Yeah, but it's not like them in their prime. I mean, LeBron's still up there, but Melo's, he's the third option right now.
Yeah, but that's the thing.
Or 4th.
LeBron's the second option.
Yeah.
But
LeBron's the creator, and he's still got the ball in his hand all the time. Melo's just,
he's playing.
He's Robert Horry right now.
But Melo's playing. Melo's more useful if I was a coach. I would rather have a guy in Melo's skill set at Melo's position, like his role, than a guy like LeBron at his age trying to point guard. When I got 2, 3, 4 guards that are better at this job, but LeBron doesn't move without the ball. Like, he doesn't. At this point in his career, he's not going down there and setting up for no jump shots. He'll come down.
But also, he's not a jump shot shooter.
But then,
and Melo always has been. Melo's always had a better shot. He's always been a better scorer.
Get online and let these little niggas tell you that LeBron. Somebody put LeBron is better at shooting 3-pointers and 2s than Jordan. I'm like, why are we having? I'm like, why are you saying these things? Like, LeBron just got the 3-point shot and it's the most set shot that nobody checks. KD's gone right now. Like, this season is a very asterisk-y for LeBron. Like, if KD was not injured, you would not want to see Brooklyn in the finals, and they probably would be there with Kyrie and KD. Yeah. Like, the Greek Freak is cute, but that ain't gonna fucking. You got a hugging ball dominant guard with Kyrie, and when they stop that, KD kicks on.
Yeah.
So that'll be fun to watch
when they're all healthy and
yeah, but they'll be old. So LeBron gets the ring this year. I'm pretty sure of it.
I don't know, man. I think the bubble is going to. I haven't seen them play well.
I don't see the NBA or the refs letting the Lakers lose 3 games in a row to anybody.
I don't see them. But I think there's going to be teams that are going to go at them so hard, and it might be in the finals.
But that's so fucking long. Like,
who I think it is AJ DeCosimo tweeted out. Say what you will about LeBron, but I still think he's got 3 or 4 finals losses in him.
I mean, he got 2 more at least. Like, he'll be back next year. Whatever happens this year, next year, there's no team in the West that's going to make that turn on him because he controls AD and all the guards. So he doesn't really have to be there. He's just bringing the ball down and fucking it up. Like, he doesn't have to really be involved in the offense. They'll be fine without LeBron. The Lakers will still be in the playoffs without LeBron.
I don't think so.
Let's look at the roster when we get done with this. Like, if you look at the roster, that roster's not. They're good enough to beat the Blazers.
Nah, not without LeBron.
J.R. Smith and C.J. McCollum could go at it for enough where they would. Neither one would shine more. They would keep up with each other. If you
J.R.'s too streaky though.
But so is C.J.
C.J. is more consistent and
with the
and
pressure,
I think more engaged.
If JR had the pressure, like when JR was kicking ass with the Nuggets, he had nowhere to go.
Yeah,
he was just kicking ass for the sport and the love.
But
he wasn't winning
8
shit.
years ago.
Yeah, but he still got the same jump shot. He's still the same wild.
Same jump shot, but he's not hungry like CJ is.
I think with the Lakers, he's happy to be there.
He's happy to be there. But he's not hungry.
And you could throw a lot of fouls at those two. Like you can put some Deion Waiters can put body on. He can't stop him, but he can fuck him up a little bit to annoy him to make Dame start playing better.
That same kind of those guys aren't, and especially when the ball needs to be in their hand, or if they're the ball dominant player on their team, they can be as harmful as they can be helpful.
Who's going to stop Dwight Howard and AD in the post? Like, fuck LeBron on the court. Those like that. If you take the starting five,
AD
is still Anthony
tough.
Fucking Davis from Kentucky, and that nigga is the unibrow. He's all that shit.
AD is incredible.
And Dwight Howard's back in shape. He's no scandal of what he's into sexually. He's happy to be out here again too.
And he's
positive
morale.
morale.
And he's playing great, but again, like everybody, it's just running and gunning right now though. Like
JaVale McGee, they got the three centers in the West are all on one fucking team.
Yeah, they do have.
They can beat
have
you
size.
off. Yeah, you can't miss now. Like if you put the three of them in, you're not getting a rebound. And they're gonna dunk on you. And you're gonna have to foul them. If AD goes down, AD and Dwight can run you rampant.
I just don't see them. I mean,
without LeBron, I could 2K that shit.
I think I think they're very good. I don't think they're even. I mean, they maybe would be in the playoffs, but I don't think they'd be a threat.
I think it'd
be very similar to AD with the Pelicans.
No, this is a different team.
I know it's a different team, but I'm saying like their ceiling is similar to AD with the Pelicans.
If you gave him a healthy Boogie, which never existed, well, not even Boogie, because Boogie don't run. Boogie's never ran, but Dwight Howard, JaVale McGee, and AD, those three centers are already crazy. You throw a Rondo, whatever Rondo's status is. Deion Waiters can come off the bench, 6-man, 7-man. The white boy with the headband, he can still run the point for the first couple of weeks, couple of days.
Caruso's name.
Not until he shows me something. He's the white Jeremy Lin. He's hype right now. He doesn't suck.
He looks like
he's the role player. We know his name. He's a John Paxson that we would fuck with. We respect the fact that he's good enough to not fail.
Every once in a while, he does a nice highlight.
Yeah, I mean that's fine. You got to. You're gonna get the ball. You're an NBA player. Who else they got on their team? I just think about it. So you got those two. Kuzma is getting. He got his balls finally dropped. He got some confidence.
But he's also
a good threat.
Best in that role of being the third option.
Yeah, but you have AD and you give him a JR and you have the Caruso or any guard you put in there Waiter. You can switch in a lot of guards that throw you different tempo.
Your love of Waiters and I
don't love. They're all trash. They shouldn't have been signed. In my point,
Waiters and Smith, just they're not the game changer that.
In this bubble against these guards with those big men, yeah, they are. Because I think if you put all the pressure on JR, yeah, JR's not that guy. But if JR can be the guy you just throw the ball to, yeah.
I think the one thing that the bubble's bringing to light too is like the guys that are focused. I think are going to thrive more, and the ones that have the chip on their shoulder, the ones that are just in there. And so like that's why Dame's been playing the way he's playing because he wants it so hard, so much.
Who is it? We got the Thunder and the
TJ
Rockets.
Warren, the Thunder, the Rockets.
TJ Warren ain't fucking. That's a cute thing. That shit was.
It's fun.
I mean, yeah, that was it. It was just fun.
It's fun, but like they're, I like the Pacers. I like the way those teams play.
I mean, it's gritty. Like they're Hawkeye. It's like you fuck with him. He got a couple scenes. He killed the bad guy here and there, but it's not like you're not worried about buying.
I know, but I'm still
merch.
saying. No, I get that, but I'm saying though, there's players that are playing above their pay grade right now because they're thriving in the bubble.
And the Lakers, even like I'm saying the Lakers are gonna win. That's my thing. Right. With LeBron,
I still think they probably will, but I'm just saying it's not gonna be they're not gonna walk there.
I think with or without LeBron, the Lakers would win the first round. Second round, if they have LeBron playing and the refs love LeBron, they usually do because he's not a finesse get to the hole guy. He's I'm going to run through you. You're going to hit me, and I'm going to get that last step and dunk, which is it's fine. The rules are that way. I'm old school ball. I like it different. But the way it is now, LeBron's not going to lose to anybody with that team. I mean, he has too many big men to pass to. 3 of them. 3 starting centers that have one of them has 2 rings, which is JaVale McGee.
Yeah.
Dwight Howard's been to a finals before, and AD is just waiting. I think I'm
excited to see how it all plays out.
Because I don't think the Blazers don't have an answer for those big men. They're going to get out-rebounded, and they're going to shoot a lot of funky-ass shots.
Again, the Blazers aren't going to be the problem.
No.
Clippers are going to be a problem.
They got to win. They got to beat those next 2 teams.
I think they will, though. I think they're a team that's waiting to turn it on in the bubble.
Ugh, I don't think anybody's waiting at this point.
I think the Clippers, because they really haven't played all together yet.
That's the thing, though. It's too late for that. Like I don't believe in potential in professional sports anymore.
Yeah, well,
except for the Patriots.
I'm just excited to see it all, and I know you're not a big fan of the bubble, but it's there.
Oh, no, I'm not a fan of it, but I still watch it. Yeah, no, I'm just saying I think the Lakers are going to win because that team that LeBron has worked his hand to get.
I like the Raptors, man. I like
them all, but I just see that the Lakers are so stacked that even if LeBron isn't fucking up dribbling the ball, they can still kick your ass.
But I just don't see. I guess we'll see. That's all I can say is we'll see. Because I think they're very good, but I think they have some weaknesses.
I don't know what it is yet.
I think it's just not being all the way in.
I don't know.
We'll see. Yes. All right. Thanks. This is John Bruton. Coming up, we got this week's Instagram hottie. I fucked up the sound a little bit, so I get it. I fucked up. Nothing I can do about it now. It's already done. But you got all this great conversation that some of it you might have cared about a lot. Some of you might not have cared about at all.
So what?
But thank you for listening. And then now check out Suzette. Boom.
Hey, everybody. I'm here with this week's Instagram hottie, Suzette.
Hi.
Hi. Keep it right on that mouth.
Okay.
There you go.
Never heard that before.
You probably heard it a bunch of times. So Suzette is a very interesting lady. She brought me a ton of keto snacks. She's like the first person that I met that's actually hot on keto. Most people are like, oh, I lost like 40 pounds, but I still got 80 pounds to go. But you have been doing keto for a long time, and you are like into it.
Yeah, like 5 years.
Yeah.
6 years. When I first heard about it, I thought it was a fucking joke.
Yeah.
I thought I was with my friends, and they started talking about it like to me, and I was like, this doesn't seem real. And they were like, yeah. And I thought they were trying to like fuck with me until I started like Googling it, because I never would have even considered it. It's
right, because it doesn't seem logical.
No, not at all.
But it actually
initially
does work. Yeah.
And now it's like, I can't go back.
Yeah.
I can't go back.
Yeah. And you found a bunch of products and brought them over, and we just had like a little keto dinner together before we got going. We had some avocado toast. I had some chips. You brought a bunch of sauces over. There's some snacks for like dessert and stuff. It's great. And keto friendly wine, which is very nice.
This is so good. I was really impressed with this wine, and it's like when I drank it the first time, I realized when it was gone, there was nothing in the bottom, and that's like what the residual sugars are, like those little like like crummies. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
So, and it's smooth as fuck.
It's very smooth and it's good. And what's the alcohol content on it? Because I've had like half a glass, and it's hitting.
It's soothing that soul.
Yeah, it is. That's a good way to put it. It's soothing that soul. It's hitting. I like it, so I'm gonna have.
I don't know the content. I don't check.
It's good, and it's at like all this stuff's at Meijer. I didn't know Meijer was fucking so hard with keto.
Oh my god,
that a lot.
I've been impressed. I waited so long for the Meijer in Lorraine to open because it's right around the corner from my house, and I was driving to Avon for so much, like all the time, and they were supposed to open in May, and then everything got delayed because of the COVID.
Yeah.
So they open in July, and I was like, I have like dates with people to go there now. Like my friends and stuff are like planning trips so we can go there.
That's the life, like the new normal is things like that. Like it feels like when you first get your driver's license and you have freedom, but there's not a lot to do. So like going to Walmart or Kmart or Target or whatever is like a big deal because you'll go there on like a Friday night and like see other people.
And be seen.
Yeah, and be seen.
You get to
and
be
like,
seen.
yeah, you get a little dressed up and you're like, oh, I'm going to Meijer. I'm gonna walk around with my friends and we're gonna have a good time and do some shopping.
So for me, it's like my double whammy because it's one of my favorite things to do without my kids.
Yes.
It's real special time for me.
Oh, I understand that completely because your kids are pretty little still.
Yes.
Yeah.
So my oldest just turned 6 and my youngest will be 3 in September. And it's a fucking night. I took him swimming today.
Mm-hmm.
And by myself, mind you. So
and that
was like a whole ordeal.
I when my kids were little, I would take them to swim lessons, and the amount of things that you need to bring
Is
to
it
keep
insane?
It's insane because you have to be prepared for any situation. Because I was like, during the summers, comedy would slow down, so I would take them to swim lessons, and then we'd stay at the pool, and that would be like our afternoon. So we'd get there early, do the swim lessons, and then just kind of stay there for the next 3 or 4 hours, and they would, just have fun and have a good time. But you have to, like, especially if you're on a budget, you can't be, you buy them ice cream once or twice a week that they have at the snack bar, but you can't just keep going to the snack bar. So you have to pack lunches and you have to have activities for them to do in the pool
and snacks that won't melt.
And snacks that won't melt and snacks that will keep, and like it's just a whole thing.
And
so I did like Mr. Monster for a while. Yeah.
So then you gotta pack all your shit up and
go
get out
out,
the pool area.
Yeah, it was.
Make a big mess, clean up that fucking mess.
Mm-hmm. And then they'll like eat it too fast, or they'll not want it, and then they'll be like, boom, boom. So you just gotta you just gotta prepare for any situation.
Bags on bags, dude. It's a whole event, dude.
So, but it's still fun, and it's like my kids were a little older than your kids, so this is like probably like when they were the 2 younger were still in elementary, and the oldest is like first year in middle school. So they would just go wild there, and they have like a slide, and they just be going on that slide again and again and again. I'm like, keep going with those steps.
Yeah, that was my favorite thing to do as a kid. I could have swam for 12 hours a day every single day if I had the ability to do it. I would go to my grandma's and swim. She's in the Elyria Mobile Home Park, like the really nice. I don't know. It's been like rated, I guess. I don't know. But I would do that for hours.
Rated or rated?
Rated.
Rated.
Yes.
Okay, that's different than rated.
It's like an uppity mobile home park.
Some of those are real nice, yeah.
But I would do that all the time. It's my favorite memories.
Yeah. My youngest was the first one to pass the swim test to be able to go on the water slide. And that day was one of my proudest days and also one of my worst days because the older 2 were like, how the fuck did Jay, I mean, no one's saying that, but they're like, Jay.
In their head they were like.
Yeah, they're like, Jay passed the swim test and we both failed it. And how did that happen? And I'm like, you just keep going. You guys stop. He kept going. What are you going to do?
What are you going to do?
Yeah.
I've been doing that with my 6-year-old. I took him, it was the first time he went, was on his birthday last week. This summer, and when I took him to lessons a long time ago when he was younger, he screamed the whole time, and I was like almost like ashamed because I loved it so much, and I just thought he would just take naturally to the water. Because at 4, I was like, I could swim in the deep end, you know, like, and that was like, I was like, I'm a badass, you know. And then he just like, today's the first time he took his floaties off, and he was like so proud of himself, but he's such a shit swimmer.
Yeah.
He was on his tippy toes like this the whole time. Yeah. And he was like coughing and choking up water, and I'm like, boy, are you even having fun?
Calm down and just relax, and like you'll figure it out.
He said it was the best day of his life, though. So
you did the right thing, and it's good. And one thing that's funny with kids is once they know how to swim, they act like they never learned, that they just always knew.
Yeah.
Because he's not gonna be like, you taught me how to swim. He's like, yeah, I'm good at swimming.
I gave up teaching him.
Yeah.
I'm just like, he'll figure it out.
But that's kind of like the best way to teach them is just to get them in the water and get them comfortable. Once they're comfortable, they kind of figure it out.
They figure it out.
Watch you.
Yeah, for sure.
Like they'll watch other people and they kind of will try things, but just getting comfortable in the water. Because when I first, I have stepkids, and when I first started going around, they were all like wall clingers. They wouldn't, like, they go to their aunt's and she had an above ground pool, and they would just all hang onto the wall. And then I would just like eventually just drag them out to the middle because they thought the middle was super deep. And then like
a bowl shaped pool.
And I take them out there, and then especially the older 2, they could stand up and have their head above water, and they're like, oh, okay. And then they got more confident, and then they all became pretty solid swimmers.
See, I'm excited for that.
Yeah, they'll get there. I mean, 4s.
It'll be so fun.
Yeah. Or 6 seasons.
6, yeah.
So we'll get
6
there.
is like...
That's around the, like,
he's
that's
a
the time.
little late.
Nah, he's doing all right. Because I mean, my oldest was 8 when she figured it out. So.
He's really good at other things,
Yeah.
okay? Like, I'm okay.
Yeah,
I'm
brag
going
about
to deal
it.
with it.
Yeah.
He's really good at it. He honestly, more than anything, he's a good person.
Oh, that's sweet.
And he was born like that.
That's
And
nice.
I would love
That's
to
nice, 'cause
take
my
credit
oldest
for
has
it.
been a lot of work to get her to good person status. The younger 2 have always been pretty good, but the first one, man, she was a jerk.
Was she?
She was such a jerk. Like,
I don't
and she
know.
always,
How do you handle that?
I don't know. It's like one of those things where, like, I remember her watching High School Musical and being whoever, like, the bad girl was on that show. That was, like, her favorite character. So she, like, took after that.
What
like,
a tell, though. That's
right,
hilarious.
Yeah. I'm like, something's
That is
a
so
little
funny.
fishy here. But she's like a total sweetheart now.
I feel like most of the time they figure it out on their own, but it's been just so amazing to see all the time. And because my youngest is a special needs kid, like it's so crazy to me because Everett, who is
What are his
Melvin's-
needs, if you don't mind
So
me asking?
he has a rare genetic disorder called Coulon-de-Vries syndrome.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing that it's like super weird, none of his doctors have heard of it. Like, this is so new, and they've only known about it for 12 years in the medical community at all.
Right.
So it's 1 in 55,000 births, and like, to give you something to compare it to, Down syndrome is 1 in 750.
Okay.
So it's like there's 11 families in Ohio, I think, right now.
So
and
it's pretty rare.
it's pretty rare, yeah. And Ohio has like the
And then
densest.
And they're still learning about it as
Yes.
they're
Oh my
going.
God. So they
that's
ask us for information about him all the time.
Right.
So we submit, where he's at with things, but he's totally nonverbal. He doesn't talk at all. He has developmental delays. He's physically delayed. A lot of the kids don't walk for a long time. He was actually a like normal age walker, which I was like so grateful for, but we didn't know he had a syndrome until he was 9 months old when he started having seizures. They tested him, like they started testing his genes, and that's how we found out. Otherwise, I don't know if we would have. There was a 63-year-old that just got diagnosed like last year, which is like insane to me.
As far as nonverbal goes, my youngest is a selective mutism. So that's just like a high anxiety disorder where unless you're really comfortable around someone, you really like you have no ability to speak. So
That's interesting.
Yeah. So like through therapy and just a lot of hard work on his own, he's overcome that. But it's also one of those things that like
That's so hard to overcome. Good
Yeah.
for him. Wow.
well, because especially like when the way our schools work, they're not designed for that.
No, not at all.
It's like they call on you and like, are you gonna speak? Oh no. Oh, what are you being difficult? And so it like really destroyed his confidence for a long time. Now he's on the other side of that, but it's really and like he always acts like whenever he makes like a huge hurdle and stuff like that. Like the first time he like went up and like gave like a presentation in school, he like nonchalantly told us about it, and we're like, dude, what are you talking about? This is amazing. And it's like, what? It's just they asked me to do it, so I did it. I'm like, yeah, but we've been trying to get you to do this for 12 years, so it's a big day for all of us.
So did he do speech therapy, or was it more like a counseling?
It was more like counseling, because it's more anxiety driven.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
like he knows what to say. He has words. He's a great writer. Like he's got great thoughts, and but it's just in the moment he
It's hard to
clams up.
articulate. Yeah.
He clams up and just can't.
That's
really get
amazing,
it out.
though. How long was he there before?
We did like 3 or 4 years of going to a therapist for that.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So Emmett's in
So then, and
speech.
he's also transgender, so they were intertwined. So the going to therapy and talking about the selective mutism led to him being comfortable to come out as transgender.
That's amazing.
And so then we did some therapy for that too, and now he's like on a path to. He's just never been happier, and it's nice to
He's
see.
so lucky he has you guys.
We're lucky to have him. Like he's taught us a lot. So he's just a wonderful kid, and that's why I don't understand when people like see their kid and they're like, oh, you're different. I want you to be what I want you to be. That's not how kids work.
No, not at all.
Like my kids, I love them all to pieces, but they're none of them like I didn't have expectations for them in that way. I'm not like you have to do this or you have to do this. It's like who
I'm
are
excited
you?
to see what they bring to the table.
Yes,
I don't
who
want
are
them to
you?
like. I don't
And
want
what
to put
can we
that
do
pressure on
together?
them.
Yeah.
I think my parents put a lot of pressure on me. I don't talk to my parents anymore, but they put a lot of pressure on me. And at some point in my life, my mom left me a voicemail actually, and she said, "We just always thought you would do great things." And I don't know what that means still, really? I'm like,
and like what qualifies? Yeah,
I don't. What
what's a great
qualifies
thing?
as that? At
It
the
sounds
time
like for like one thing, like taking care of your youngest, like that. I mean, taking care of any kid's a great thing, and being there and being present and being like I think that means more than just checking boxes and be like, oh, the kid's getting good grades, or this kid's getting like having a real relationship. Like I have a quality relationship with my kids that I don't have with my parents. Like I still talk with my parents, and we're still like, they still love me and I love them, but I can't be open and honest with them.
Yeah. And that's so important to me now, like living through that with my parents, because they called me. My dad called me one day and he said, we don't want a relationship with you anymore.
Man, ooh.
Which, and at the time hurt, and now I'm at a point where I'm like, okay, I am better off without them. Like totally. I have started to sculpt who I want to be.
Mm-hmm.
They were holding me back in so many ways that I never would have seen until they were gone. I had a lot of toxic traits that I've broken, and I'm just like, I'm becoming
Do you mind talking
better.
about some of them?
Sure, yeah. So
because I think that's like, I mean, that's one of my favorite things about this podcast. Like, I try to be funny, but I also want to talk about growth and the humanity
that is my
of each
thing
person.
right now.
Yeah,
that's my jam.
Yeah,
because it's like I'm turning 30 Friday, so I've been like on this like, and
this will be last Friday because this comes out Monday. So,
okay.
So
word to that.
Yeah. So you'll already be 30 when this comes out.
I will be 30.
Yes.
And I'm so excited to be 30.
You should be.
And part of that is because I've decided, like, at some point I was like, you know what, fuck discover, like, you know, figuring out who you are. It's not about like what happens to you. It's about who you want to be and making yourself that person. And it took me way too long to realize that. And I feel like I wasted so much time just like waiting for the day to come where I would be like, I'm amazing.
Yeah.
And then eventually, you know, once I started doing those things, little by little, I get a little bit better all the time.
Right.
And I am becoming a person that I'm proud to be. And I think too many people wait around for like them to just like,
or they just like, yeah, I think people wait around, or they just go like, well, I did all the things that I was supposed to do, so I should be amazing.
Yeah, checking those boxes.
Yeah, but then they end up being like really petty and like really like, I don't know, they're not
disingenuous.
Complete. Yeah, very disingenuous. Yeah. And when it comes to family, like I have my parents, I love them very much, but I also have my adopted grandma, who is the lady that I lived with for like a year and a half, who's my best friend's grandma, and like she's been so integral in me growing as a person, and like just having somebody that is, you know, she's more motherly to me than like grandmotherly, but she's just great.
It's so special to have that.
And like she, you know, she'll be judgmental about certain things, but she's also open and she wants to hear it. Whether she's gonna like it or not doesn't matter, because she wants to hear it either way.
Yeah. And I think by letting yourself be available to those things that you like, little by little and without you realizing it, change a little bit. Mm-hmm. They change your perspective a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think that's so important, and that people don't do it enough.
Right, because she's someone that like, you know, I'm someone that forgives and forgets kind of, and she's someone that like if you kind of cross her the wrong way, certain people, like she just writes you off and you're dead to her. And so I feel like she's softened on that over the years, and then I've just kind of learned, you know, things from her too. Like it's been a good relationship to have, and it's just been like a consistency that I've needed to have like an elderly, not elderly, but like an elder in my life that I can depend on.
Yeah. And
not like in like a financial way or anything like that, but like
does she
emotionally.
check you? You know what I mean? Like
she will, yeah. Because like I went through this whole thing with my girlfriend, and she's just she wants me to be okay.
Yeah. And
so like I tell her everything that's going on, and then I tell her that we're getting back together, and she's like, but are you sure? Like, you know, she likes my girlfriend, but she loves me, so she wants me to make sure that I'm gonna be okay.
Yeah.
Ooh.
That's one of my favorite things. So I have a best friend, and I think that we check each other, and that's one of my favorite things about our friendship, is that she is the most supportive person that I have, but she also is not afraid to, you know, kind of like let me know like, hey, you might be wrong here or something, which I think is really hard to do.
It's really hard to do, and that's one of those things that I think
it's hard to hear.
A lot of
sometimes.
people, it's hard to hear and it's hard to do, and there's some people that do it and they're very abrasive about it, and there's some people that have like a lot of tact when it comes to it, and then there's a lot of people that just won't do it at all. And I think it's a very good skill to have, because it's what it really is you just have the ability to speak your mind.
Absolutely.
But
not in a way where.
But yeah, and like that's what I'm saying. Like to be able to do it and make it acceptable because you're not doing it with any malice. You're doing it to try and actually help.
There's no malice behind it at all, and it's like I've learned a lot from her too, and I'm working on being a little more assertive. I'm in therapy. Because I have bipolar disorder, so I see a therapist, and I've come a really long way.
That's great.
And
so do you have to take medicine too?
Not anymore.
That's great.
And
because my sister was is bipolar, and she worked her way to that level too.
It's a lot
of work.
I never thought it was possible. Like, it is so much work, and I know this is probably going to sound hokey as shit, but
don't worry about it.
One of the things that helped me the most was doing keto. It has given me so much like mental clarity and like the ability to manage my episodes and my moods like so much. I'm a lot more stable now.
And that's the thing that like people don't understand is how much diet plays into your mood.
It is fuel for you know.
And like when I'm still overweight, but when I was like at my fattest and I was just eating everything and eating all my feelings and doing all that stuff, everything was. And I wasn't ever diagnosed with bipolar, but highs were high and lows were lows, and like you're just like living off your addiction, and you know whether it's food or alcohol or whatever it is, you're never really right. And so once you learn how to manage your diet and have like stable energy throughout the day and sleep well at night, it is a game changer.
Incredible thing. So the meds, I don't remember what meds I actually took. It's been a long time. But I was on several different rounds of them for a while, and I had such a difficult time with them. I never found something that worked for me anyways. So like staying active, eating well, drinking water, you know, trying to manage some sort of routine.
Water. People like underestimate the power of water.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
I don't know how like people go for like days and just don't drink water. If I don't drink like at least a gallon a day, I feel like shit.
You gotta drink water. Water's great. And it's so important. And then like everything else kind of falls in place because then you realize like a lot of times like, oh, I really wasn't hungry or anything like that. Like I just needed to be hydrated.
Hydrate or dihydrate, man. I'm such a hydro homie. I'm all about that life.
So you posted a video on TikTok, and we're gonna take a hard turn here.
I forgot about that.
But it was so funny. And you were talking about a trip to the doctor, and I'll kind of let you tell the story from here.
Okay, so the filter really nails it, though. You know, the voice filter that I had.
It's still pretty good. I feel like it's still gonna hit pretty hard.
So I was 15, and I had chronic nosebleeds, and I would get them so bad that I would wake up covered in blood, and I would fill up like hand towels worth of blood, like just all for no reason at all. And eventually I had to go to the ear, nose, and throat doctor because it was starting to affect my life, and I was going to get my nose cauterized. So my dad picks me up from school, and he brings me to the doctor, and he examines my ears, nose, and throat, obviously, and then he separates us after he does this. And I have never been to the ear, nose, and throat doctor, so I was like, this is weird, but is it weird? I don't know. But he took my dad out of the room, and he talked to my dad. And then my dad came in the room, like, all flustered, and the guy, you know, comes and talks to me, and he's like, I have to, you know, he's like, is your dad abusing you? And I was like, what? And he goes, are you being abused? And I was like, no. I was so lost. There was no preface to this at all. There was nothing like I was like, what the fuck is going on? And I'm like immediately like sweating and blushing, and I'm just like kind of sick to my stomach, and I'm like, why would this man ask me that? And then he proceeds to tell us that I have bruising in my throat that's consistent with oral abuse. And I knew immediately what it was from, okay? But I was not willing to like offer that up yet.
Yeah.
So, like, my very good lie, okay, is I just go, well, I was brushing my teeth the other day, and, you know, my toothbrush slipped, and it, you know, hit the back of my throat, and the doctor is literally just like, okay. And my dad's like, dude, what the fuck? And we are driving home, and he's like pressuring me about it. When we get home, and he had let my mom know what was going on at some point, and the moment I walk in the door, my mom is like, Suzette. And I fucking lost it. I just broke down. I was like, okay, I did it. I was like, I had sex yesterday. I sucked dick for the first time ever. And that's how That's how my parents found out I lost my virginity, and maybe that's why they don't talk to me anymore. Who knows?
It's probably like the first. Not the first, but maybe. But that's the thing. Like I've found out things about people, and like if you're a good parent, I feel like you can
in the
cope with
worst
it.
form ever.
Yeah,
Just good
but
Lord.
that's a tough one. But pretty.
Jeremy, I hope you're watching this. Okay.
Yeah. So he went for the throat.
He went hard.
That's actually on you. That's you. That's you too, because like you're like, I'm doing this for the first time, but I know what I want to do, and you took it to the throat.
I took it to the throat go.
Yeah. Well, good for you.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah. Well, you're a pretty open person. We had talked while we were eating dinner about you moving into the OnlyFans situation.
Yeah.
And
I'm kind of excited for that. I think
because you kind of I feel like you're a bit of a voyeur.
Yeah.
Yeah, you like people to know what's going on.
I do. I don't
you're
know
very
what
open.
it is about it. It's just like
no, it's a turn on.
And again, it's like not for them. It's for me. It's fun for me.
Mm-hmm.
And so now I'm like, it's been years and years since I've been, posting my nudes wherever. And now I'm just like, I might as well profit from it.
Right.
Who knows what's going to happen, in the next year or so.
Yeah.
Like with everything going on, I'm like, I'm going to own it.
So you're going to start.
Exploit myself for money.
What do you think you're going to, what's going to be your lane? Because everybody's kind of got their lane.
That's hard to say.
What's the thing that you like to do because I know you did the boudoir photo shoot.
That was so much fun. I want to do more stuff like that.
Well, you should, because the pictures that you sent me, it was very hard to choose which one to post. But the one where you're in the purple panties and the white tank top it's fantastic.
I'm gonna post most sexy. Of them on my Instagram. Yeah. Actually, I have to warn my father-in-law. Oh it's Yolo.Swagginz. You're welcome.
Yolo.Swagginz. But you're not. But now, are you going to keep that branding?
I don't know.
I think that's probably the way to go. Is if you go with the same branding across all platforms, people.
I'll probably use the same photographer. So Wild November Photography. The photographer's name is Jamie Hall. She's amazing. Mm-hmm. She was so much fun. I'd never done a boudoir shoot before, and I wanted to do it for my 30th birthday to embrace.
Empower.
Yeah, that is and that's what empowers me. I get that that's not what empowers every woman, and. Mm-hmm.
But that's the whole idea behind being your own woman and
absolutely.
And feminism is you don't have to do what other women do. You get to do what you want to do.
Yes. Yeah. And the more comfortable I get with myself, the more that I love myself and like who I'm becoming and who I'm sculpting myself into.
Right.
The more I'm like, check it out, guys. This is what I got going on.
What you got going on?
This is what I got going on.
If I had a hot bod, I would post it. And I think it's also funny where women will use their bodies and stuff like that, and guys use their abs and muscles if they have them. But I think it'd be funny if it became normalized to just post gray sweatpant pics.
Those are the best ones.
I'll show you one later.
Oh.
So it's
my behind the scenes halo.
Yeah. So it's just one of those things where we're so repressed sexually in America. That there's a lot of people. It's
mind-boggling to me. I do not understand it at all.
It's for me, it's a double-edged sword because part of the repression plays into part of my kink. Things being thought of as wrong and stuff like that because I was raised religious helped me, they turned me on.
That's so interesting, actually.
So, that's one of those things where it's oh, I'm not supposed to do that? Well, then I want to do that.
That is, I don't relate to that at all, but that's so interesting, and I totally get why that's a thing, though. I totally do.
And that's why, there's a lot of people.
Are you exploring that though? Do you think the more that you explore it?
Well, I feel like I'm on the other side of exploring it, where it was a thing for a while, where it was just I went down this road and did everything that I wanted to do, and now I'm more into just other things now. Now I'm more into just kind of, I don't know how to put this. I don't know. I'm not as turned on by that anymore because I feel like I did some work on myself and it's not as sexy to me anymore.
Well, yeah,
I'm oh, that was tied to a lot of damage.
Yeah, it's not taboo.
And then I came to terms with it. I'm like, well, now I don't come to terms with it. It's not even, I don't
you done fucked up.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's one of those things it's interesting, but I like sexuality. I like people being free about their sexuality. And
I do too. I think it's so important for people. I really do. And in so many ways, and it's fucking fun. And it's very fun, and also so much fun.
Can I also just say that if you are not kinky and you just vanilla regular sex, not only is that okay, that's great. I'm happy for you.
Yes.
So
embrace that part of yourself
because is
part of sexuality.
Right,
It's like
yes.
it's a whole spectrum.
There is, exactly, and that's like I remember one time a guy called into the Alan Cox show. We were talking about sexuality and the spectrum of, you know, what you're into, and he was saying like, he's like, I don't know, I'm a straight guy, but I like when a girl is kind of muscly and pushes me around and stuff, and I'm like, that's because on the spectrum that's hot to you, and then he just was like, what? And like it blew his mind, but I feel like it gave him a lot to
Like
think
it's
about.
okay to be
Yeah,
that
it's okay.
way.
I'm not like shaming. Like, no, you're into dudes. I'm like, no, you're into that.
You're into that.
So be into that.
And people are into some weird shit, and I
Yeah.
don't mean weird in a derogatory way. Just shit that I would have never even
You never thought,
considered.
yes. So like when someone wants to wear like a diaper as an adult,
Or
like,
wants to see pics of my armpits. That is
Feet,
new to me,
armpits,
and I'm
yeah.
like, okay, if I did that, hairy armpits, like regular armpits, like
there's probably pictures for
deodorized.
both.
Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
There's so many things that I'm like, you know, learning about, and it's really interesting to me. And even though I'm not into all of those things,
Right.
I love that people like
are in there
because the brain is so complex. It's
Well-
just like it's so cool.
And that's kind of one of the things that I'm into because I like, and I think that's why OnlyFans is so popular now is because people like a personal relationship with whatever they're like.
Yeah.
Like, because porn, watching it on Pornhub and stuff like that, if you like that, that's fine. But it's very disingenuous and it's very detached.
It is.
But if you have like a back and forth and like she's replying to you and you can say like, hey, can you make me like a JOI video, which is jerk off instructions, where you're getting coached through a situation and it's like you know, there's a build up to it because that's more
The
what
build
I'm
up
into.
is
Yes.
so neglected.
Yes, and there's some guys that they just want to get done. They want it to be 2 minutes long, 3 minutes long. I like the build up. I like taking my time, not even like getting turned on before I even get started.
Yeah.
You know, and that's cool to me.
Usually for me, I'm at a point now where I'm like, I follow this subreddit called Chick Flicks, and it's a lot more like intimate, like female friendly porn, which I really, really like. And I like a lot of other things too, but it's just something I've recently discovered. And like people will find videos and post in there, you know, that, you know, kind of suit that sort of style. So I've been looking through them a lot, and like I'm at a point now where like if I have time to like jerk off, I have like 5 minutes to jerk off.
Right.
With like the kids and like my whole life.
So
I'm like,
get to it.
well, I like to search for what I want. So by the time I find something, and then I like have the video, and it's my favorite thing is that you can scroll over and see what's going on in the video. So I can, if it's like a 45-minute video, I can be like, all right.
Where's my
this
part?
is what I got. 2 minutes. Here we go. This is what I need. Bing, bang, boom.
What do you
Get
like?
done.
What's the thing?
I like all kinds of things. I'm really into scissoring right now.
Okay.
Really into it. I don't. It's just like
I
go
find that
through
there's a
these
lot of
phases.
women that are really into girl on girl.
It's like it. I don't even know what it is about it, but it's beautiful. Oh my god, women are so fucking beautiful.
Oh,
like
I agree.
first and foremost, like when I've noticed like when I watch any porn, I'm always focused on the girl anyways. And I think that's a very common theme.
I'm trying not to look at you too creepy right now, but like
It is okay. I am like
so scissoring girls are
scissoring's what I'm
beautiful.
into
Yes.
right now. It kind of depends on what mood I'm in. Just like if you ask me what my favorite song is, it's gonna be something different. Like when I ovulate, when I ovulate, I notice I listen to things that make me feel sexy.
Yeah.
And then when you know I'm on different parts of my cycle, I prefer different music, and that's honestly how I feel about porn.
Yeah.
So I like different things at different times.
Yeah, that's why there's categories and different.
I like the
varieties
club sex.
All right, here's one that
Those
I
are
love.
so fun.
Those are so fun, and one that I love is the male stripper going to like a party.
Yes.
Have you ever watched those?
Where it's like a reverse gangbang, essentially.
Yeah, where it's like it's like all these girls and they're like, you know, they're all obviously there to be in the video.
To be in the video, yeah.
But it's like if you buy into the fantasy, it's like there's the male stripper and they go in there and then girls are just like, okay, I'll suck your dick, and they just start sucking his dick, and like then he goes to the next girl and just like having that like situation where like, you know, the fantasy is that I'm that guy just going to each girl and they're like, well, I know this other girl just sucked your dick, but I'm gonna suck your dick too. I'm gonna do better. I'm gonna show her up. I'm gonna do better than her. And then they like kind of escalates until it gets to a point where.
So the competition.
Yeah.
The competition.
Like girls competing for me, like it's The Bachelor times a million.
Times a million, yeah, like behind the scenes.
Yeah.
The behind the scenes.
Yeah, but they're all there too.
They're all there.
So I appreciate that. Like that's a hot one. So.
I do like those. I've seen those ones
Yeah,
too.
they're
I do like those because I like the women. I
like the women too.
And
And that's the thing
like,
too, because a lot of times in those, it's not like regular porn stars. It's very regular, like
Yes.
like not, I want to say real women. So some of them might be a little heavier or a little, whatever, but they're real looking, and that's
I
so.
hate the contrived.
It's so sexy to me, where it's like, oh man, that's what it would look like if a girl like that.
Like
sucked your dick.
a real person.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
It's I'm very
It's the
into that.
contrivedness of porn that I don't. It's hard to buy into, and that's
Well,
why
that's
I
like
really
the-
like the chick flicks
Yeah.
subreddit, because they're giving you those things that seem very genuine, and a lot of them actually are.
Mm-hmm.
So some of them is like a lot more amateur, but not without like the shitty video quality
Right.
and like the
Well, that's the thing. Is like people know how to make it now,
yeah.
where it's like
Yeah.
it's not just to like these studios. Like you can make pretty good content on your own now.
Yeah.
So that's good. All right. Well, thank you so much for coming.
You're welcome.
and-
Thanks
and-
for asking me
Yes,
to come.
this has
Honestly, it's been such
it's been very
a fun, flattering
Yeah.
like moment for me.
Where can people find you again on
Yolo.Swagginz.
Instagram?
And my OnlyFans, I am almost done setting it up, but by the time this comes out, it'll be ready probably, is also Yolo.Swagginz. And I'll be at the Sleaze there. And I don't have any other social media platforms.
Well, that's
I
that's
do
all
have a
you need.
Snapchat. It's doo-wop. Really, really killing the usernames,
Yeah,
though.
but
Let me just
they're
say.
pretty hilarious, honestly. So you from her Instagram, I'm sure you'll be able to find her OnlyFans. Check her out. She's adorable and sexy and just an open book. So if you're into something, ask her. She'll make it for
I'm
you.
your girl, yeah.
All right.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Bill.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This is the Bill Squire Show.